So pretty much, if I had a set schedule, and I don't yet, but if I had a set schedule, the way I would do it is Wednesdays was going to be some sort of weekly video, some sort of weekly series, some sort of consistency, something like that. And I've decided, which I should have kind of done this long ago, let's be real, it's because I've gotten a lot of requests for different things when it comes to Jinx. I'm just going to make my Wednesday video, the weekly video, like a weekly Jinx video every Wednesday about a different topic. And I say I've gotten a lot of requests as in the past I've had comments about, hey, could you talk about or do a video about, you know, Jinx when it comes to Warlord and Feather? Could you show some gameplay video of like a new skin that came out, etc, etc, and then I never really got to it, and I kind of apologize for it, but it's because I had this idea, in which case, if you're watching still at this point and you have like a request for like a Jinx video or topic for me to talk about regarding her, put it down in the comments section, in which case I'll see it then, and then like maybe the next week's video will be about, let's say you say, hey, what do you think Jinx will be like heading into Season 7, and then I'll make a video about that in next Wednesday's video. So every Wednesday is about to be a Jinx video of some sort, especially because when it comes to just League content, it's really easy just to make League content because something new is always happening every day. It's why, even though I like to call myself a variety channel, it's mostly just League videos. But there are plans, of course, to make other content, other kinds of videos. For example, the Minecraft stuff, that just takes longer to make because I actually have to build those things before I can then make a video about it. So, with that said, now getting back on topic, and this particular case, what I'm going to do is just again explain. So in other words, again, if you have a certain topic you want me to talk about when it comes to Jinx, how to play the game if you're losing and you lost lane or something like that, a certain build, my opinion on something, feel free to, you know, throw that in the comment section, ask about it in the comment section, and then like every Wednesday will hopefully be a Jinx video about one of the topics that you guys, you know, request or recommend or something like that. And if that's, you know, if nothing has come up, there's no comments, I'll come up with one on my own. Like we've done the What If Jinx series in the past, we've done skins when they've came out, you know, the Jinx Another Day series might come back in this form, in which case, that's that. Now moving on with what today's specific video is going to be about is I'm going to talk about what do I think Jinx is going to be like heading into Season 7, just based off of how the preseason's gone so far, and in my opinion, I think she actually isn't in a terrible spot. Her win rate is actually pretty decent, it's at 51%, that's not that bad, and furthermore, I think runes and masteries are the reason why I think she's in a decent spot, because a lot of other roles, especially, some of the runes and masteries have to change quite a bit, and I think the thing about Jinx is hers have kind of stayed mostly the same. It's mostly still pretty much everything the same across the board except for Feather. Feather, even though it's getting buffed twice, by the time I'm making this video, it's going to be buffed again next patch. It also is kind of iffy. I guess it's kind of iffy. It's not completely horrible now that they're buffing it back up again, but a lot of people are saying Warlords is just better. We're in assassin meta. You probably need the lifesteal to survive. If you get dove on by one, give you a chance to either flash away or just kite them, something like that. So that's the only real major change, but otherwise, for the most part, it's mainly the same, and that's why I say she's in a good spot, because it's familiarity. It's the same thing that you've been doing all this time in Season 6. That seems like it's going to be the case heading into Season 7. So then it comes down to if you're good playing Jinx or not. Do you feel good playing Jinx? Like, do you main Jinx? Do you play Jinx often? Can you play her into whatever is the meta? Then I think you'll still have the same success that you've been having in Season 6. If she's something you just pick up because you hear that she's powerful, you might struggle a bit, in which case you might see her as a weak champion. Now granted, of course, because of assassins, Jinx, but then to be honest, any immobile AD carry, and to be honest, any AD carry period, it's not going to have the best of times. So then as a role, it is going to be maybe a little bit more difficult, because between assassins coming in and then tanks coming in, A, either it's going to be your job to just try and stay alive against assassins, or B, in Jinx's case, who can kill tanks, it's going to be your job to kill those tanks more so than anybody else on the team. So the responsibility is really going to fall on you to stay alive. It's not impossible, of course, just make sure your positioning's right, make sure you can get your items, you don't fall too far behind the lane, and farm. But beyond that, yeah, I think she'll be in a good spot heading into Season 7, unlike last season, in which case she was nerfed in 522 in the middle of the preseason, which is why people said she was like the worst AD carry coming out of the preseason, because Riot doesn't really like the term clunky too much, because it gets overused, and I do have to agree, a lot of people overuse the term clunky, at least way back in the beginning of Season 6. It was always, everything was clunky, when it really wasn't. Some things were clunky, some things weren't clunky, and then Riot would later admit, you can ask August, aka Groovy Lord, he'll even admit, yeah, the change they did to Jinx's rockets heading into the Season of 6, out of the preseason, it did actually leave her clunky, and it left it really difficult to CS with the rockets So you really couldn't CS safely in lane at, you know, long CS. You had to use the minigun or you could try and use the rockets and you'd be standing still for too long, so against a Blitzcrank or Thresh or Morgana, whatever, it'd leave you susceptible to being engaged on, attacked, and killed. So, you know, there was that, and that's a problem. Yeah, dying. That's actually a pretty big problem. But beyond that, so yeah, it did actually leave her in an actual bad state that they didn't fix until midway through Season 6. I don't think that's the case here. To the point, August even said if they were ever going to nerf Jinx heavily because they needed to, she was out of control, the rocket attack speed is not something they're looking to nerf heavily ever again after that, you know, experience. But beyond that, I do think the one thing you might have to worry about is actually Rage Blade. Like heading into Season 6, Rage Blade does look like it is a pretty, I want to say it's like a trap item, because it looks like it suddenly would be really good to build on Jinx, right? The extra 25% attack speed that you can get. And actually, I do, in my experience, in my experimentations, if you're building hybrid, it is actually as good as it almost used to feel when you were playing it on Kog'Maw or something. Because for those that don't remember, when Kog'Maw was super out of control with his Rage Blade build, like Tristana and Jinx were like also the go-to Rage Blade AD carry builds if Kog'Maw was banned and you still wanted to go that route. It wasn't as great on them as it was on Kog'Maw, but it was something you could do. It's starting to feel like Rage Blade as an item is starting to feel like it's at that point again where you can do that again with Jinx and maybe Tristana. I haven't tried it with Tristana yet, but with Jinx I have tried it in a hybrid build, that is, and it does feel pretty good again because of the attack speed you get from it now. That's not just you know, stacked attack speed, it's just the 25% attack speed just period from completing the item. It just feels good even though it's not really a massive change. I say it's a trap item because I do think it's something viable you could build if you need like a 6th item and you're ahead or something, but it's not something you should build early. It's not something that really changes Jinx's core build. You still build the same stuff, especially if you're behind, but if you're even, also build the same things. I would say it's a trap in those scenarios. If you're ahead, I do think it's okay to try and build. It will get you to like the 250% cap attack speed. Depending if you have like the double Zeal items in Infinity Edge, you have a lot of crit and then you'll have a lot of DPS that's just also critting like all the time. And it's just, it's satisfying. Like I said, it just feels nice. If you feel like the AD carry role is weak right now, experiment with Rage Blade if you're ahead, because I think it just kind of feels nice. Now, beyond that, another item that I wouldn't say is really a trap item, but is maybe an okay item to actually build if you were going to switch up the build, is Blade of the Ruined King. And I say that because I personally don't like Courage of the Colossus. It's no secret to those that know me. I'm not a really big fan of that mastery, and it's because of the shield, right? A lot of champions that are abusing it right now, they had a shield to begin with, and then they can also have a shield from this item. And a lot of people like to, their counter argument is you know, a lot of those shields are like health based, as in the more health they have, the stronger the shield will be. Yeah, that's true. But for me, Strength of Aegis was at least something you had to stack, right? Like if you weren't good at last hitting cannon minions, as in the top lane, or you weren't getting really a lot of farm because you got deep invaded on, or counter jungled by like say a Ghost Smite Singe or something, you weren't actually able to build up that extra 300 health. Like there was actually a way to stop it, in my opinion. Well, Courage, I kind of feel it's just like a free shield no matter what. It is stronger with more health, but it's still a shield no matter what, and that's my problem. Beyond that though, the reason I say Blade of the Ruined King is, so I've played a couple games now where several tanks will have this mastery, or even not tanks, but just like really bruiser people, and it doesn't feel like Last Whisper by itself, even as a completed item, can cut through it fast enough before they start killing us, because tanks do a bunch of damage. So Blade of the Ruined King as an extra item, maybe even still as a 6th item, but if you want to add that in there on top of a Last Whisper, I think it can work out, especially because they're buffing it, especially because it also has lifesteal. So if you're not building, you know, Bloodthirster at any point, if you want to use this as a 5th item after Last Whisper because you're not cutting through those tanks, I'd recommend Blade of the Ruined King. So all in all, like I said, I think she's going to be fine going into the season. Again, this is what I want the Wednesday videos to be, is some sort of Jinx video, whether it's some sort of a more comedy-esque Jinx video, a theory crafting Jinx video, talking about a build or mastery, or just request by you. So again, head into the comments if you've requested me to do a Jinx video in the past, there's a good chance just put it down in the comments of this video and I'll actually see it and I'll actually do a video about it. Like every Wednesday, we'll do something different. We'll do, like I said, whether it's a skit video, theory craft video, gameplay video, showing off a new skin video, or something like this where we just give an opinion. Again, these are going to be my opinions. I'm not like an expert Jinx. I'm not like a godlike Jinx player, like top 100 Jinx or something like that. But I play the champion so much and I invest so much in the champion, maybe what I say can be helpful to somebody that's looking for some help. But that's all for this video. Thank you for watching if you did watch this far. Life is full of a lot of kinks, so I don't know which video will be next. So until next time, take care from the Fire God Eye FS.